Welcome to Improvement Week in Columbus, Ohio, and welcome to a fun, casual joint. It is great to be back at Roosters for the live show, driven by Tansky Powersports as well. And Ohio State is 3-0. They beat the Bobcats 37-9, so there should be nothing for us to worry about in here on a Monday, right, guys?
Yeah, it was a win.
Very convincing. That's Justin Zwick.
It was a win.
Nicole Cox and Zach Boren over to my left as we talk about this one. And, so, Zach, we broke it down on the beat. Like, there are certainly areas where the Buckeyes will be trying to get better during this off week. And then you have to balance that with the fact that you still win a game by 4 touchdowns.
I think it's the best thing that could have happened, right? We, how many times over the last 10 to 15 years have the Buckeyes faltered in the red zone, made some kind of boneheaded mistakes, and we're sitting here talking about a loss? Cue up Purdue, Iowa, right? Like, it's happened multiple times. And now we're talking about this with a lot of great teaching tape. Ryan's able to sit there going into a bye week and say, hey, guys, we're not perfect, right? Now we've got a lot of things to work on. And guess what? We still won the game by 4 touchdowns. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, going into that game, especially with the way Grambling went, everything just seemed to go our way that game. All the catches and just, 16-16, all the good stuff.
Nice little shutout.
And then you come to a game like this, and I think it's, you could tell Ryan, I don't want to use the word frustrated, but, right after the game, they came up to do an interview with him, and he just shakes his head like he was not happy with how they played.
He didn't get much happier by the time he got upstairs.
No, yeah, and he didn't. But, I think that's good going into a game like that where you're supposed to win. And you can come away, 1, being somewhat healthy, and 2, you get the win, and you get a lot of good tape, and you can really get after these guys, going into a bye week when instead of just, you know how it goes. If everything went perfect and everybody's feeling really good, it's, they're still going to try and get on them, but it might be a different mentality for the players. But they have a lot to fix here in this game, and so it's really good going into that week, I think, to nail down on some things.
Ryan might never admit this until maybe sometime in February of 2026, but he seems really upset after the game, which he should have been. But I guarantee you he woke up Sunday morning, and there was a part of him that was extremely happy because he actually gets to coach these guys now, and you aren't going into the bye beating Texas, who was number 1 in the country, absolutely dominating Grambling. And then if you were dominate OU, everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, you guys are the teams, the greatest team anyone's ever seen. Now he's able to actually motivate them, get into them a little bit. And to Ryan, I guarantee you he's much happier that the game went the way it did Saturday rather than going into the bye week, guys thinking we're the greatest thing, and then you go on the road to Washington, which is going to be a really hard game.
Yeah, that's why I asked Ryan Day on Saturday night when he came in there. It's like, how are you feeling right now? Because it was hard just for me to analyze this game. It was one of the trickier ones that I can recall, sort of what both you, Zach, and Jay-Z are talking about. Like, yes, there were things that you could get better, but it's a comfortable win. And I don't. My inclination is not to immediately go nitpick the worst parts. We do that. I mean, we're so hyper focused on everything for Ohio State, and it's easier to look at the things that can be improved rather than the stuff that went well. And I get that, and that's a coach's job as well. But like, I was trying to figure out, Nicole, just how frustrated Ryan Day really was with that, because there was still a lot that he could take out that were positives from that game.
Well, I'm glad you said you had trouble analyzing it as well, because it was, I also, and I do have a question, how many Bobcat fans do you think were in the stadium?
Well, I don't think anyone was cheering against Ohio.
Okay.
I think there were, and
I personally noticed a lot of
hundreds
Bobcat
of
people
half Ohio State, half Ohio
really?
U shirts.
I love that.
I don't love it, but
no, I love that. My whole family went to OU. That's why I say that. I went to Ohio State. Yeah. My whole family went to OU. So, but I just didn't know, like, if that might have had something to do with it a little bit. Just the atmosphere of, I don't know, OU's loved by a lot of people that live here in Columbus. Yeah. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I still think, we won, like you guys were saying. And I'm so glad you said that too, Zach. Because I do feel people just are immediately like, well, they better pull it together. It's not like that. I'm glad they chose this game. If they're going to have learning opportunities, I'm glad it was this game. Let's flash back to when they played Texas, how incredible that was.
That was only 2 weeks ago.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's
feels like forever ago.
Let's be grateful for that. And we won. At the end of the day, we won. So.
Well, and you also look at I mean, we put up over 500 yards total offense, 28 first downs. I mean, like we did a lot of good things. It was like the 90 yards of the field we did whatever we wanted to, and then you get inside the 10 and it kind of fell apart. So there was a lot of good. I mean, first drive of the game, boom, 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 right down the field. If Cardin makes that catch, it kind of feels like last week, right? Yeah. We go up 7-0 right away, first drive, but it just didn't happen. And then you get a sack on fourth down, and that gives OU a little bit of mojo going into their first series. But offensively, except for those little things, and then of course the interceptions, the pick or the tip one, I don't really put on the quarterback. The second one, you got to hold on to that ball, figure that out. Now, try not to be a hero there, but other than that, I thought we ran. That Bo looked really good when he got his opportunities to get in there. Broke a couple big ones, and we threw the ball well in the middle of the field. Just something about that goal line wasn't working for us.
Yeah, it wasn't. But this week, the Buckeyes, as we mentioned, are off. They're on improvement week, and so you're going to have some free time, Jay-Z, to get out there and experience the outdoors. And if you're looking for your next adventure, head to Tansky Powersports, your one-stop shop for ATVs, dirt bikes, golf carts. I need those. Nicole's going to go play some golf right now, and more. Whether you're looking for speed, power, or versatility, Tansky Powersports has something for everyone with the best brands and expert service. Visit Tansky Powersports today at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road, or browse their huge selection online at TanskyPowersports.com. Tansky Powersports, where the adventure begins. The adventure continues for Ohio State at Washington, as you mentioned, Zach. So as Ryan Day does go back to work, and as he woke up on Sunday morning looking at that film, where do you think he will have the biggest emphasis on the practice field this week?
I think it has to be in the red zone. I mean, Jay-Z already talked about it. Going on the road. What I love about the schedule now, I think everyone hates having a bye week 4.
I don't love it.
Yeah, but when
I want the routine.
But when you break up the season, it's really like the month of September, the month of October, and then you have a bye week at the end of October, and then you got the month of November. So it actually kind of works out. So you can kind of run it in 3 phases, and you look at this next phase of games before the next bye week. You go to Washington, to Wisconsin, to Illinois, and you got Minnesota at home, right? Let's throw out the Wisconsin and Minnesota games, but Illinois and Washington are some damn good teams, going to be hard places to play. Illinois is more than likely going to be a top 10 team.
Yeah.
And when you go on the road, Jay-Z, you know this more than anyone, you have to finish drives in the end zone. Especially once you get in the red zone, you have to finish them. And so that's going to be a huge emphasis. Washington's a tough place to play. Ohio State, you and I talked about it's loud. It's right on the water. Washington fans are going to be fired up with the number 1 team in the country and town. You got to get touchdowns when you're supposed to get touchdowns.
Jay-Z, when you looked at that, it felt like there were opportunities for Julian Say, and I think you mentioned the throw to Carnell Tate, but that opening drive looked like they'd schemed up something for C.J. Donaldson out in the flat. That second quarter, there was, Brandon Ennis kind of like a return route. I don't know exactly what the terminology would be for Ohio State that they use for that, but it was open. And Julian Sayin is in his 3rd start, so if he's going to miss some opportunities, that's fine. I don't want to steal the thunder from you there, but in the red zone, it gets more difficult, compressed. The decision-making has to be quick, and it just wasn't quite there. It feels like that's just more of a inexperience maybe.
Yeah, I think there's some inexperience. I think maybe a little bit of predetermining, what he thinks he's going to see versus what is happening. I think Jeremiah was open on the one, little not corner route per se, but I think your quarterback's sitting there. All right, I got a safety up here. He's pressing out there. They're going to take Jeremiah away in his head, right? So he's all of a sudden focused over to the left side of the field when, all right, maybe we need to peek over here to see what that corner's doing, because he did sit at the line of scrimmage and you did have a hole there. So I think there's some of those things where he's seeing stuff and he just is saying, all right, they're taking that away from me here, so I'm going here just to make it a little bit easier and, going through his reads. But I thought those two you talked about, if he was able to dump that off to Donaldson right away, that's a touchdown. Brandon, I think that tackle at the end maybe got in his way a little bit, maybe didn't see it because it had to come out quick, right? Yeah. I mean, he came down, boom, you get that ball to him, he's going to score. But I think maybe he just wasn't seeing things correctly, and then, he just shifted over to the rest of the field. So 3rd start, inexperienced, but I don't even know what it was, 24 or 32 or something along those lines, 300 some yards passing. I mean, so we're nitpicking a little bit, and he had, a couple of mistakes, which is good, because you're going into a week where you can teach and really sit down and go through those things with him, and we got to be better in the red zone, and he will be, and he's going to see those plays on on film and live action game and realize, all right, I got to do a better job of peeking at things maybe just to see that I'm really seeing what I think I'm seeing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's why Nicole Ryan Day said over and over on Saturday night, lessons learned. Like those are opportunities to get better, and you want them out of a win. We keep making that point. It wasn't just they didn't win 13-9; they went 37-9.
Exactly. I mean, it was a great win, and like I was saying before about the atmosphere, we just came off Grambling. I mean, that was a blowout, So I think that can mentally. I don't know. You're like, okay, that was pretty easy. We did it, And then OU had a lot. I keep wanting to say like juice. They just excitement because
it's a big opportunity.
They're a good football team too.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they're good.
Let's not act like
Exactly.
Watch out for the Bobcats, man.
They're going to win. Yeah.
I'm telling you,
they're going to win the MAC again this year.
That's what I meant. They're a lot better, I think, than we all imagined in our heads, and then also had that extra drive because they saw their own fans there. It's an Ohio team. So I think that could have had something to do with it. And again, like I talk about too, always the standard is the standard. It's like,
oh, you said that first.
Well, I'm going against it. I'm going against it in the sense of
Bob's not here, so you're just gonna
rip it to shreds.
I mean, they won.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the best. That's what we want. And then how can they ever get better if they don't make mistakes? So I think that's
failure.
Exactly. I think that's what we take away from this game. And it was the perfect game to do it. And again, we won by a ton. So
yeah, that's right. The perfect thing on a Tuesday, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z, what do we got over there?
Oh, we got the number one app
The
at
number
Roosters,
one.
in my
You
humble
guys,
opinion.
it really is. People like it more. We just did a survey on Instagram and people like the mac and cheese bites better than mozzarella sticks.
Well, I'll tell you.
Mozzarella sticks have been around
sometimes
forever.
mac and cheese can be a little hard to eat if you got a fork. You need a spoon. This is just you use your hands and you go to town, and you get a little bit of the sour cream to dip it into. If you're a pro, you get some spicy ranch.
I was gonna say,
and then you dip that into those. But
or if you're burned, you just get the hot sauce.
Yes.
Yeah. And then act like you're sweating when you're crying.
Yeah,
out of your eyes.
Out of your eyes, of course. And
typical Birm move.
While you're here, those are $3 on Appetizer Tuesday, which is a Tuesday.
Right.
Make sure that you register as well for the Buckeye giveaway.
Yes.
We had more winners yet? Or
Last
no,
week-
October 6th. I
October
picked the next
6th?
round.
All
Last
right.
week set a record. I was told there were 33 million.
33.
That is not true.
0.5.
That is not
0.5
true.
mil.
Oh,
You guys,
wow.
everybody, I mean, you have a great chance of winning. We do have a lot of registrations, nothing near 1 million, so there is a chance.
Well, then we're not doing a good enough job.
Yeah,
QR code on the
yes.
screen.
We're trying to talk it into existence, and it's just not happening.
You said the next giveaway is October 6th. Did I hear that correctly?
When we choose a winner, yes.
Got it.
So
So make sure that you get those entries in. You can register every single day.
every single day.
And that's why that number gets so outrageous.
Through the roof.
Nicole's favorite thing when I exaggerate about the number of entries for the Buckeye giveaway. But she does love giving out some Roosters Buckeye leaves. So where should we begin, Nicole?
Like I said earlier, I'm glad you said it was hard to kind of just analyze this game. I'm going to go with Carnell Tate, though. I feel like he's just really been showing up, and, he had 5 catches for over 100 yards, and he's had a touchdown every game, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just choosing him. I mean, I would give it to the whole team every
Can't go
time.
wrong.
I would.
understand.
So I just, for everyone learning.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
He's so good.
He is so
And if Jeremiah Smith was not on this team,
He'd still be so good.
he'd still
Yeah.
be the best
Yeah,
receiver.
he'd be the best
on
receiver,
every
right.
other team in America, I think he'd be the best receiver. I think he's the second best receiver, the second most talented. And there will be arguments for other players across the country, Zach. But every game, you and I talk about it on Sundays, it's like there's a catch he makes in every single game that's like most players are not capable of doing what he did, and he makes it look easy.
I think every game so far he's made a catch where you're like, oh man,
Yeah,
it's a
there he
really
is.
tough catch. That's what makes really good players elite is when they make the tough plays look easier and
routinely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us give him enough credit, and I don't think the nation gives him enough credit because everyone's focused on Jeremiah and what he's able to do. But Carnell Tate, man, like it's almost like he needs to patent the little I don't even know, the post route from 40 yards in the air, right? It's like his signature route right now. And he just comes underneath every single ball and just makes it. It's like you can picture it. And he's a stud. He is a stud.
Imagine the panic.
What a 1-2 punch.
You're playing corner on Darnell.
Wideouts. I mean, it's incredible.
You see him start to break on that post and play actions coming. I wouldn't want to be.
I mean, literally, it's like I swear he should patent it. It's like his route. Like you think of Marvin Harrison, you think of the crossing route, right? You think of a Mecca Buka, you think of kind of the choice route, right? Like JSN was so much of the fade, the back shoulder fade. Like you think of Carnell Tate, you're like, damn guy runs a post every single game.
Catches touchdowns.
And he's going to catch it no matter where you put it.
Exactly.
So he's been fun. And by the way, it's fair to focus on Jeremiah because he's a freak as well.
Well, yes, again, I mean.
Fastest to 1,500 yards.
Yeah, I was just going to say, fastest to 19 games, I think it was. Yep. Beats second place by what, 1 game?
Yeah, Jackson was there in 20.
20, yep. So that was who I was going to give mine to, just because he is who he is, and he's setting records, and that receiver record book is going to be very Jeremiah Smith heavy by the time he's out of here. So it's just awesome game by him, and I think they're doing a lot of things. I think he's, not just run fast and go. It's more like, hey, you're going to learn how to sit down in windows. You're going to learn how to, when they're playing certain coverages, you're going to find different things, and I think he's doing that, and he's doing it really well. And when that just makes him so much more dangerous because he can stop on a dime anywhere he wants if he's seeing what the quarterback's seeing defensive-wise, and he can find those holes, and that's going to be huge for him in his growth as a receiver moving forward.
Remember 2 long weeks ago when I was like, why is Jeremiah – where are all the targets? You got to throw it to him 13, 14, 15 times a game. It didn't happen against Texas. It was a very specific game plan. In the last 2 weeks, yes, the level of competition is different, but I think as you're starting to see Ohio State's offensive identity evolve and leaning more heavily on both Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and what Julian Sayin can do, he's getting those 13 targets. He's getting 12 targets a week. That's not going to stop. That has to be the way Ohio State wins games, Zach.
Most definitely. And you and I talked about this multiple times. And Jay-Z, you hit the nail on the head. I think last year he was so much of, look at Jeremiah Smith, so athletically gifted. We are going to run him down the field, one-on-one coverage, make the play, right? Whereas in this year, he is kind of that veteran guy that needs to be able to do so many different things. You don't see him just running straight down the field on go routes. You see him trying to find the middle ground, having to read the coverages, having to find the open space. And not that that's challenging for him to do, but I think Texas is just kind of like, hey, what's that look like? In the last 2 weeks, man, he's been unbelievable. I mean, what they're able to do, and to Jay-Z's point, when you have a receiver that's that physically gifted and that big, and now you're teaching him how to run those middle choice routes. Now you're teaching him how to put his foot in the ground on an 8-yard dig route, right, and do those things outside of just going, hey, fade, throw it to
You're
Jeremiah.
just better than everybody. Run down the field.
Correct, right? Now you make him even more dangerous.
Watch this, guys. I'm going to predict Zach's Buckeye leave. It's going to be Caden Curry.
I was gonna bring up Caden Curry.
How'd you
Dang
know?
it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
know.
I have a gift.
I was gonna talk about him because I thought he had a great game Saturday. He's a monster in there.
He's a monster. I think he's had a great year. He's been one of my favorite players for a long time now. I think Austin was tired of hearing me talk about him last year.
I'm not tired of it.
Yeah, I mean,
because it was deserved.
I made this comment when Austin and I got together after the game of, he reminds me so much of John Simon. And when I say that, it's different body types a little bit, but he's that guy that's twitchy, has so much fight in him, plays to the whistle.
Very high motor, just keeps going.
High motor and goes. And so you saw that on Saturday against OU. Heck, you saw it against Texas A&M Grambling, right? And when you are a guy who's always been kind of knocked on for not being the biggest dude, not having the most girth, but then you're able to bull rush a center and a guard at the same time, get a sack. I mean, come on, man. What else can you expect from the guy? And then you put him on the edge, and he shows twitchiness and speed to get to the quarterback as well. So, Caden Curry, man, he's a stud.
And they're able to move him around. I mean, that just creates so much
for sure
that defensive line can do, and you just really trust him to do his job.
Yeah,
and he's made a lot of great plays and a lot of big hits too. He gets after the quarterback.
Oh,
he's making him
a tough dude.
Yeah, that quarterback was feeling him on Saturday. Because he's coming in and hitting him hard.
Yeah. You've talked, Zach, about him playing 3 technique and being able to move around. I didn't really envision Caden just lined up on top of the center, and now that I've seen it, it's almost all I want. It's possible.
Exactly.
How are you going to block
him? He can do it. You can't block him, and that's why I like him so much, because he's got strength, way more strength than people think, but then he's also got the quickness, right? So when you're a center or a guard, so much. What are you used to going up against? The big uglies, right? 330-pound guys. They usually sit there and anchor.
Yeah, they're coming straight at you most of the time.
Right,
yeah.
they're coming straight at you. So now you put Caden in there that can either hit you with power, speed, can hit the spin move on the inside. I threw a spin move in, right? I mean, it's unbelievable what he's able to do and to keep those guys guessing. And I think that's where you just see so much success. And it goes back to what Matt Patricia is able to do with this defense and putting guys in different positions.
When you put him down there, then you have Arvell and linebackers up on the line of scrimmage. Like who's blitzing? What's going to happen here? You know, it's like it just has to mess with these offensive
I mean,
lines.
at one point on Saturday, I was going crazy about this after Texas. They run a 5-1, right, where you've got Caden lined up over the center, and you've got Sonny and Arvell on the edges. And there was a time when all 5 came. There was a time when both of them dropped, and you just have Peyton Pierce sitting there in the middle. Like, what they're able to do and throw different looks at teams is next level stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. And Bo Jackson was fun to watch on Saturday as well. As much as we talked about him last week and that one final carry and the ball security, can he accept the coaching? What's that Tuesday going to look like? What's Wednesday going to look like? Will Ohio State put him in the game to get the same opportunities in the first quarter or the second quarter coming off of that? I tell you what, that first carry of the third quarter, that was the 64-yarder. I
didn't look like there was a lot of room there, and he found that.
I said it to Zach yesterday. I may have said it to Birm on Saturday, and now I'm saying it to you guys again right here. That just felt to me like a star-making run, and maybe we'll look back down the road and I'll be right about that. I hope I am, for Bo Jackson's sake and for Ohio State's productivity on the ground, because we've spent 2.5 games looking for that level of explosiveness, and Ryan Day used that word last week. It's like the run game has been solid. You're looking at 5, 6, 7 yards a carry overall, but it was like they were all 4, 5, 6, or 7 yards, not necessarily hitting that next level and going down the field. And the way he separated, the way he broke those 2 tackles in the middle of as he goes through the defense and hits the safeties and starts to pull away. Yeah, he can finish that run maybe for a touchdown and he gets a little bit, more developed or whatever down the road.
Yeah, but he had a nice stiff arm for an extra 15 yards, as he's going down there.
I mean, maybe so, but for a true freshman in game 3, that just feels like.
Well, and most importantly, no ball on the ground. He took care of it. I'm sure he got that talking to after last week.
Oh, he definitely did.
Yeah, and it's just like, the more confidence and the more he does that, he's back-to-back 100-game rusher, filling in, coming in late in the Grambling game. And
without the full complement of carries.
Yeah,
to do that is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
so.
and you're going to need all 3 of those guys. Yeah. It's a long season and lots going to happen, but, and I think they have done some good things as well, but he just seems to jump out at you when you see him play.
I think the writing will be on the wall on what depending on what the coaches think about him when he gets in there on third down situations and gets put in pass pro situations, or when they get him involved in the passing game in general.
Right.
If that happens, watch out.
That's the next step, right?
Yeah, because that means the coaches are like, hey, this dude's a real deal. He's legit.
We trust him to do it all.
Exactly. He might be our horse moving forward. Because you saw on Saturday night, a lot of times on third down, they're bringing CJ in. They're bringing James Peoples in. And that just tells me that they don't trust him enough
just yet.
Yeah. But when that kind of switch flips, watch out.
And we've seen it. I mean, Trey Henderson, he became a great blocker in the backfield, pass protection and that sort of thing. And that he grew into that. It wasn't that way his freshman year per se, but these coaches will get that. They'll get Bo going, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, well, we're going to get Nicole going. Anything else before you head out there and go?
Yeah,
how low?
If you hit a ball into people, you got to yell 4 today.
How low? How low is that team going to go?
Well, I'm not quite sure, Austin. My problem.
Because you have to predict your golf game because there's no Ohio State game on Saturday.
I know, but you know how I've been doing in golf lately.
I do know. I've got screenshots
that
show you at the top of the leaderboard.
Hey, that's the only time I've been on a winning team like that. That was incredible.
Okay.
Second place. We won second. We did.
So just didn't give us a trophy for it.
They didn't, and they didn't recognize it, but it's okay. We know. We have the proof.
Next time. Yeah, we'll get out there. All right, so we are going to take a break. Nicole's going to go out there. Her team is going to fire it low out there on the links, and then she's got the whole weekend off. What are you going to do with your Saturday without an Ohio State game?
Guys, it's just jam-packed right now. It's just fall and kids and all the things, but it's
good. Fun stuff.
It is kind of weird not having a game. I'm excited to talk next week just about mentally, like where the team is with having a week
Are you
off.
going to Washington?
I'm not.
No.
I'm not. I wish I was, but we decided, we're not going on this.
Were you on the team that went out there, or is that before you? That was Beckman's. Yeah, never mind. Yeah,
that would have been like
that was Beckman's senior year, I think. No, that was 07 or 8.
Was it?
Yeah, because I was there until 06.
Oh,
yeah, I think it was Beckman's.
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But that's looming. And we'll talk about Washington a lot more next Monday, as Nicole said, when we get back at Roosters to talk about Ohio State, Washington. We're going to continue to talk about the Bobcats, though, when Birm gets here for the second half of the live show at Roosters, driven by Tansky Powersports.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Well, welcome back into the live show at Roosters, brought to you by Tansky Powersports. Birm is here. This is when I just hand over the show to Zach so that he can ask Birm his question.
I don't want to talk
Birm,
about
how are you?
Hey,
I had no idea you were going to be here today.
Here's the problem.
You're like a celebrity that walks in the Roosters. Everyone just stares. Like, where's your picture
Well,
on
they're
the
staring
wall?
because he's limping. What's wrong with that guy?
It's solidarity with Joe Burrow.
Is that what it is?
Sympathy pains?
It's sympathy pains. That's right.
Wait, so you knew he was going to hurt his toe?
I realized that after 2 weeks where the Bengals are 2-0, the season is now over because Joe Burrow's out for 3 months and we're done. So let's move on.
You didn't like what you saw from
Man,
Jake
we
Brown?
actually had 2 games. I'm a Browns fan. We were done after the first week. So
It took him.
Birm, let's move on. It's a bye week, and that means recruiting.
No, there's
So,
no.
there's no game, so we gotta
the
talk about
coaches are
recruiting.
out on the road this
Correct.
week. They will be
okay.
visiting players around the country. But Zach, we actually talk about the game that just happened. So
sorry.
that's what
I'm new
we're
to
doing
the
here.
show.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
he's new.
It's been on the show.
I
It's
would
been a
love to
while,
know.
yeah.
I would love to know the last time Ohio State had more tight ends catch a pass in a game than receivers.
Last week?
Besides Saturday.
No.
I'm surprised that someone didn't send us that stat
When
already.
was the last time that happened? I would like to know that.
We got
Ohio State had more running backs with receptions in the game on Saturday than receivers.
We got that update after each of the first 2 games from someone
yeah.
in Woody about the tight ends.
Pretty
why
wild.
didn't we get that?
1993.
But, I mean, I bet it's probably been at least that long. It's crazy.
Okay.
More tight ends, more running backs caught passes on Saturday than receivers. Only 2 receivers were targeted the entire game on Saturday. How crazy is that?
Brandon Ennis should have been targeted in the red zone.
But he wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just saying.
Wow.
That's
Kinda
the kind of standard you wanted to set right here, just bringing us that stat.
I was just thinking about it. I'm
Yeah,
like, man, what a weird game, because it was not a game that, like, in retrospect, that anyone should be like, oh, this team stinks. They really didn't put it together. Like, they had 600 yards. They averaged 10 yards a play. They had 13 explosive plays.
They went
on
up and down the
offense.
field
They did
every
whatever
single
they
possession.
wanted. And the entire narrative around how this game went would be completely different if Julian Sayin threw the ball to C.J. Donaldson and threw the ball to Brandon Ennis on the 2 red zone drives that fizzled out.
When he didn't have. Yeah, I mean, you basically have 2 interceptions and those couple plays that make you feel like, man, this game wasn't really that good.
He
It wasn't that clean.
He had
I
7
agree.
incompletions. 2 of them happened to end up in Ohio's hands. He's ostensibly to blame on both of them because he didn't see the spy on the first and he should have just ate the ball on the second. But, like, it wasn't like they were stupid throws.
No.
It's just
No, the tight end was there. I mean, the defensive line does a good job, get their hands up. And, a lot of times you'll see those hands go up and the ball go right through them, and that
every
would have
time
been a
their
catch,
hands go
but-
up and they stay there. And they stay there.
They do. Well, they were moving around a little bit. They deflected the ball.
So ultimately, like, I've been trying to think about how to process this game, and, like, it's not there's a concern certainly in the red zone, right? If that becomes a regular thing, but if he just completes 2 passes, if the first one of the day, the Carnell Tate hit him in both of his hands. He's made that play. He made that play last week. He made that play multiple times in his career.
Yeah.
OU defensive back knocks it out of his hands. Good
Made
play.
a good play.
Like the one to Jeremiah Smith in the end zone, maybe not the best throw of Julian Sayin's young career, but still, like, it just
Had a hand on it, looked like.
It's Jeremiah Smith. You just throw it up.
Exactly. Just
But
give him a
He's
chance.
down there.
Well, that's the problem. He didn't throw it up high enough. He just kind of put it in a.
Yeah.
He threw it a little late and a little flat. But other than that, like, if you look at the statistics, this game was Ohio State had 280 yards at halftime
To 28.
and Ohio had 28 or 23 or something. Like, this was an absolute.
And that's what made it so hard to
Blowout.
process because the score was
Yeah.
13-3.
Do you know what this game kind of reminded me of? And people, there was a huge outcry last year. Remember when Ohio State played Nebraska?
The Nebraska game? Yeah.
The Nebraska game, right? And everyone was like, this team sucks. It was just, a week after losing to Oregon, or 2 weeks?
That was 2 weeks after, because you had the off week.
Oh, because you had the off week, right? But it was the next game after Oregon.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about, this team's terrible. Let's chalk up the season, And then guess what? They go on to win a national championship. In Nebraska, if I remember right, it was an 8-point game.
That was Ohio. That was a game where Ohio State slept-walked, whatever.
Yeah, okay, that was an 8-point game. This is a 20.
That's not English.
That was an apathetic. We don't care. We're not interested performance. That is not what happened on Saturday night.
I agree with you, but that's what everyone's kind of
comparing it. Yeah,
comparing it
to.
It's
weird because they were completely not the same. Like that Nebraska game last year, and we talked about it a number of times since, and talked about it with Ryan Day. That's one of the weirdest games I've ever seen Ohio State play. Like I was like, I do not recognize this team. Nobody seemed to give up about that game.
That was my concern at that time. Thinking back to the way that played out, Zach, was that coming off of the loss to Oregon, and that was a 1-point game and a chance to win it, and then having the off week and all the emphasis that they put on the defense and the re-engineering buzzword that we heard at that point is like, okay, you've had a week off where you didn't get to go out there and prove yourself again after being so close. The fact that they were so lethargic against Nebraska in that game was what concerned me. I don't feel like that was the case at all.
They were not lethargic at all. As you guys already brought up, the yard discrepancy, they had explosive plays all over the field. Everyone just points to the red zone woes and then the missed tackle for the 80-yard touchdown, whatever it was that OU had, right? Like those are the only plays that people in their mind think of from Saturday night. And it's like, guys, that's not it at all. You can't go out every single week and beat every team 60-something to nothing, right? Hey, just in Athens, Georgia, now this week, everyone's talking about how great Georgia is. Just so everyone knows, a week ago in Athens, Georgia, they beat Austin Peay 28-3. Okay, Austin Peay.
That's a sentence.
Okay, so if everyone,
Austin Powers,
let's go P.
Yeah,
remember that there was a guy from Austin Peay in the basketball team years ago. His nickname was the Fly. So the crowd would chant, "The Fly is open. Let's go P."
No.
Yeah.
No.
True story.
I don't think is that a true story?
I don't know if it is or not. But my point is, you're 100% right. This game was not a lethargic game by Ohio State. It was just, and even the missed tackle by Lorenzo Styles on the long touchdown. It's like that is born out of almost a touch of like arrogance. Like, I'm going to get this ball back. You caught the ball against me.
I'm going to knock this out.
I'm going to make sure we get this back. As opposed to a guy who should have just tackled him at the 40, because OU would not have scored on that drive if he just tackled him at the 40. But those things happen. Like, you have a defense taking chances because why not?
Anytime you're manned up, I mean, that ball snuck in there, and
it was a good throw.
It can happen. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
So what do they do to get this red zone? Is it just a matter of getting more reps, more experience for Julian Sand, more chemistry with the receivers? Is it establishing more of the run game? Is it all of the above? Like,
I think it's all of the above. I would have been happy if they just went 4 times and ran the ball on that first inside the 5 or whatever. Like, tell your offensive line, we need to be better at this, and you guys are either going to get it in the end zone or it's going to look bad.
We saw that philosophy a couple times in the last few years with Ryan Day, where he's like, fine, we're just going to line up and we're going to run our heads into the wall and until it breaks. And I don't know if that's the right way. I think some of it is when Bo Jackson's not on the field, the running game looks a little different. And he was not in the game on the first 2 possessions when the Buckeyes were driving, especially the first one when they're inside of the 5 and then go backwards. Second one, they stall out of the 22 because of a Tegra Shabola penalty. Later in the game, they took him out of the game when they settled for a field goal in the second half because Bo Jackson had the long run, and then they were like, oh, okay, you have 65-yard run. Now we're going to bring in the other guys. And some of that, maybe he's a young guy, maybe he's tired, I don't know, but it seems like that's part of it. Some of it is just the field gets shrunk, and you have to make cleaner throws.
You got to make quicker decisions. You got to make. I mean, the windows are smaller.
Well, that's the thing.
Decisions happen faster.
I mean, here's the other thing. Ohio State in the playoff last year had 0 issues in the red zone, and you saw them being very creative, doing different things against a team like OU. And Berm, to your point, like, hey, listen, if we tackle them on the 40, we're going to stop them, right? Like, the coaches aren't naive to that. So maybe you're like, hey, I'm going to try some different things. You didn't see as much creativity in the red zone against OU as maybe you will against Washington at Washington or Illinois at Illinois, right? And so you try and take the vanilla and give it a little bit pizzazz, but you don't want to open up the complete playbook for the red zone.
That's a game where you want to put some stuff on film too, maybe just to make everybody kind of look at that and say, oh, in the red zone they like to do this. Well, maybe we're setting them up as, for something.
I think even that throw that we mentioned to Julian saying maybe needed to throw that out there a little bit more to Jeremiah on the fade, like that's the least creative play call you can possibly have. That's like, you have Jeremiah Smith, let's just try this fade and see if it works without getting really exotic. I think that might be exactly to your point, Zach.
Maybe against Washington or Illinois, it's a tight game, and they're in the red zone. Instead of it's the fade, it's the Jeremiah self-fade comeback, right?
Exactly.
Let's be honest, right? Like, they very well could be doing things to Jay-Z's point to set up, be like, well, they go to the end zone. It's only fade to Carnell or fade to Jeremiah if they're throwing the football. That's it.
We're on the front pylon. We're catching the back shoulder fade.
Correct. So there's going to be some different things, some different wrinkles. To Berm's point, I think – especially in the red zone with Bo Jackson's style where he can go east and west a little bit, I think that helps you in the red zone, right? Because if you're only going north and south, you're shrunk. And from a running back standpoint, like, hey, we're only going within the tackles, get the defense moving east and west with Bo Jackson.
And you have to have someone that can see the hole and hit the hole quickly in the red zone. That's what Bo seems to do better than the other guys right now.
And Justin, we were there for that Student Appreciation Day scrimmage. It was like, we know that Bo Jackson can run in the red zone against Ohio State's frontline defense. Like we saw that in spring.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just a thing where they, he's young and they, I don't know if they don't want to put him in that position on the goal line for some reason or not. Here this early in the season, but I think he is somebody that you have to give the ball to, and you got to have him in there. And if he's going to get tired, you spell him. But I don't think anybody's going to be unhappy if he goes out and he's the starting running back, against Washington. I think we understand how that gets there.
I also think for people watching that, I think there's we're not writing off James.
No,
CJ
I don't
Donaldson.
mean to do that
I also
either,
think there's a completely different skill set or play call when you are within the 3-yard line. I still think CJ Donaldson is that guy. Yeah. I think what we're talking about is you're on the 14-yard line, you're on the 15-yard line, right? Maybe even we saw it at, I think they went out at the 11 and couldn't get anything, right? Like, there's still some space to the end zone, and it's not just, hey, go within the tackles and
run it
downhill, right? Like, I still think inside that 3-yard line, 4-yard, like CJ Donaldson's still that guy.
Yeah, especially if you put Nate Roberts in front of him and do some traditional.
The cowboy.
Right.
I'm gonna nickname him a cowboy.
Do some traditional I formation.
That's a great nickname. It'll catch.
Has Lambo caught on yet?
Lambo, we're working on Lambo. We're trying to get Bo Jackson the Lambo.
So I think after Saturday.
My buddies out of Saturday said Lambo's it.
It's Lambo time.
Because his name is Lamar Bo Jackson.
So Berm,
Lambos are a car.
Lambo is.
They're also
being the wordsmith that Berm is. He put Lambo together.
This is actually a listener who sent in that nickname.
Oh, jeez!
But now he's claiming it as his
Lambo. Now, what did you guys think of the idea? What Ryan Day said after the game about Lincoln Keenholtz and more opportunities for him inside of the red zone specifically, because he was asked about it and said, we can run the whole offense if Lincoln's in there, and so we've got more for him. Like, my first question is that necessary? Because I don't know. I mean, I think he's a better athlete than Julian's saying, but I don't know that it's like leaps and bounds better in that short space. So what is the value of that really? Unless you're you're just more willing to get this guy hit.
No, I think the biggest thing, and again, it goes to situation. I think once you start getting inside the 10-yard line is when maybe Lincoln comes in, and it's the Urban Meyer philosophy. I mean, you've seen Ryan Day do it as well. It's a great philosophy. There are not enough defenders when you are running the quarterback, right? When you've got a lead blocker for the quarterback and you're running some kind of quarterback power, quarterback lead, whatever it might be, there are not enough defenders in the box. You have them outnumbered. And so I think if you start getting pushed back in the red zone based off of the defense not respecting Julian, be able to use his legs, then you bring in Lincoln, you're like, okay, he can throw it, he can hand it off, and hey, guess what? If we want to outnumber the defense inside the box, we will spread them out, and we will run Lincoln Keenholtz straight down the middle. And guess what? If we spread them out and they don't want to, now we hit them with a quick screen, which we've seen so many times.
He is the slant king.
Right?
I don't like.
He looked pretty fast coming downhill on the one.
You
he
do
got
not like.
Saturday.
I'm not gonna
specialty.
I'm not gonna change my philosophy and opinion on that. Now, maybe if it becomes wildly successful, if Ryan Day follows through, because we've also heard this mentioned with Devin Brown, and maybe they were on the brink of using that before he hurt himself against Penn State 2 years ago. We definitely heard it plenty with Tate Martell. Urban Meyer was using it with JT when JT wasn't the starter. We've seen the packages for the quarterbacks. I don't like it. No matter who it is, I think, and Jay-Z could probably,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm probably speaking his language, that the quarterback doesn't like to come to the sideline. They don't want to look over their shoulder. They want to lead the offense. And I think that Julian Sand can execute all the things that they need to down there.
Just run him.
Well, I think we need to get to a point where we don't need to run our quarterback, and we have these. We got guys in the backfield. Our offensive line, is solid,
and we got to
find those yards.
There was the notion that Dwayne Haskins didn't have the ability to do that, and then at Maryland,
C.J. Stroud didn't have the ability to do that.
Well, I think they were unwilling to do it with C.J. Stroud, and there was a suggestion that Dwayne didn't have the athleticism, and then he ran for 3 touchdowns at Maryland because all of these guys that play quarterback at Ohio State, from Justin Zwick all the way up to Julian Sand, have enough speed and athleticism to pull the football and go around.
I've seen Peyton Manning pull the football and go in the NFL. I mean,
and you only need to do it 1 or 2 times to get the threat and open it up. But I think Julian can, and I think it's to me too much of a disruption. And I'm also I'm not fully of the belief that Ryan Day will actually do that with Lincoln Keenholtz. So I think that he knows it's an option in the back pocket, but I don't know that he's going to press the button all that frequently. That's my read on it.
I hope not. I just don't think it's necessary. So
yeah,
no, it worked.
I mean, you love it for the kid because Lincoln's a great kid.
I know a time it worked really well. The guy's name was Tim Tebow, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
and it worked very well.
Sure, the little jump pass.
Yeah, it worked very well. So it can happen.
He was a fullback,
and I also.
He was a fullback.
Are you just saying that because I'm sitting here?
No, he was a fullback. No, he was a fullback who could occasionally throw a little jump pass.
We don't even think about you as a fullback.
Yeah, I know.
I completely forgot you used to play fullback until just this moment.
Let's rewind a little bit though. Lincoln Keenholtz is not Devin Brown, right?
No,
is not Tate Martell. Lincoln Keenholtz is very much like one of one when it comes to athletic ability and what he's able to do.
Legit.
So it's a little bit different. To be honest, what I would love to see them do is I would love to see Lincoln get in at wide receiver, like in certain situations.
Whoa.
Right?
Hey,
like get the ball in his hands, right? Like
I think that they're better off putting like Mylan Graham in or Bryson Rogers.
You get a double pass, Birm.
You took my comment the wrong way. Like if they're gonna do gimmick things.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right, like gimmick things. Don't put them in at quarterback. Put them in at wide receiver. Put them in at
running back. Put them both back there.
Well, yeah, put them both back there, right? Put them at the H, right? Like if you want to do gimmick things with Lincoln, I'm all for it because his athletic ability.
No.
But maybe not a quarterback.
But treat them as actual gimmicks and not go out there and run.
Take your starter out.
Correct.
And
you get what I'm saying? Like,
my question after this game, and this is the biggest question I have, and obviously it's improvement week. There's a lot of things Ohio State's going to be working on, heading out to the first road game, Washington, all of the things that are going to be tough about that game. Outside of Caden McDonald and Caden Curry, I have major concerns about the defensive line and the ability to win one-on-one.
Major concerns?
Major concerns. I just and it's been glossed over to this point for the first 3 weeks because Matt Patricia's defense is so multiple and does a lot of things where Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese are essentially your fourth and fifth defensive linemen in a lot of these situations. Yeah. I just haven't seen anybody else really win defensive line wise where they've actually been blocked. Even the one play on Saturday that's on my mind is Kenyatta Jackson he crashed down on a keep, but nobody blocked him, and he made a tackle in the backfield. Yeah, that's great. CJ Hicks. My brain just cramped. Against Texas, making the play at the end of the game, but was not blocked. Like I haven't seen anybody other than Caden McDonald and Caden Curry really consistently win their one-on-one, go out and make a play matchup on the defensive line. And so when you get into, and you talked about the Illinois game, you talked about even Minnesota, who is a very big up front.
Yeah.
I just feel like those are games that lack of ability to just have a true four-man down front is going to end up causing a problem.
I think yeah, Minnesota doesn't bother me. Wisconsin doesn't really either. I think you look at 3 games in the future of Illinois, Penn State, and Michigan. All 3 of those teams are going to try and line up and run the football against you because they want to limit the number of offensive possessions you have. That's what they're going to do. I don't think it so much worries me. I think what worries me more is Edric Houston not being as dominant as he's been to start the year. I think looking at the defensive line, even outside of Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson, everyone was thinking like Edric Houston was going to be the anchor. Yeah. Edric Houston was going to be the star. Yeah. I read an article that people were comparing him to Aaron McDonald based off of his quickness and how much he beefed up in the offseason. And don't know what's going on. I'm not saying there's anything to be alarming about right now. You just expect him to be uber dominant, and he hasn't so far to been the year.
Especially when he's compared directly to Caden McDonald on the inside, who has been unbelievable in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, and you had the 2 penalties. Edric Houston jumped off sides against Grambling, and I don't know if that's why he didn't start or didn't play at all in the first quarter on Saturday against Ohio, if that was a message from Larry Johnson, Matt Patricia. I don't know. We're going to get a chance to talk to Matt Patricia on Tuesday about that, but it wasn't even that he hasn't been dominant with the chances that he got. It's like he wasn't even out there at all. And comparing, all due respect to Tywone Malone, the ceiling compared between those two is not even comparable. Like Edric Houston's athleticism is a completely different level.
Yeah, it worries me some that there is such a big drop off. Now, do I think they can find ways around it? Yes. Bo Atkinson, I thought, flashed on Saturday night. No one's really name-dropped him. I think he's flashed. Could they move him inside to 3 technique? I don't know. I mean, he is a little bit of a bigger dude.
Is Logan George coming back? I mean, is he going to be somebody? I know he got some snaps.
He played at the end of the game, but I think Bo Atkinson is a little bit
behind. He's behind Hicks. I mean, he's not – Logan George.
So it's just going to be maybe somebody's spell, but not necessarily.
Yeah, someone's spell. Just how do you get guys in the game that can defend the run, that can do those things, that can beat blockers? Now, who knows? I mean, we saw Caden Curry obviously lined up over the center multiple times Saturday night, but those are in passing situations. Like who can put their hand in the ground on 1st and 10
when you know they're coming downhill at you and
defend the run?
That is my if I have a concern into the
coming into the season,
that was that's it for sure.
Yeah, coming into the season, that was a concern, right? I mean, we lost the 4 guys that were awesome last year. So I mean, I think they've held their own, early in the season. But yes, we are going to have some bigger tests here down the road.
And Caden McDonald has exceeded expectations, and I had pretty high expectations of him, but he's been even better. Caden Curry, I'm not surprised at all. He is finally getting a chance to play regularly. Every time he's been in the game in the last 3 years, he's made plays.
Say it louder, Berm.
He always makes plays.
Okay.
That's what he does.
I'm in between the president and co-president.
The Kool-Aid stands right over here.
There's never been a game that since his freshman year when he got in the first time that he didn't immediately make a play. That's just what he does. But it's just who else is there? And now you see Kenyatta Jackson's got a giant brace on his leg, and you wonder if he's lacking some explosion. That wasn't there a week ago. It was there on Saturday. So now you start to get some, what's that about? The Edric Houston situation. We don't know, if he was being given a message, as Austin said, or something else like it. So I'm really on high alert for one of these games, for Washington especially. They do a nice job running the ball. That's where a game where the linebackers are so good for Ohio State that I don't know that DeMond Williams at Washington is going to be able to do what you have to do.
See, that doesn't worries me as much because Washington's still going to try and spread you out and the linebackers can play in space. What worries me is when they bring in 6 or 7 offensive linemen and they try and run downhill right at you, which we sure as hell know Illinois is going to do. Yeah. I think we all know Drew Aller in big games. Penn State's probably going to try and do that with Nick Singleton and that whole crew.
Aller basically turns into a fullback in those games.
Correct, right? And then Michigan, I mean, you saw what they did on Saturday, but they are for sure going to try and run the football because that's been their bread and butter the last 4 years against Ohio State, right?
Well, you can emphasize that all improvement week long. We're going to continue to have full coverage, even with off week number 1 for Ohio State on the Austin Birm Show. The beat will roll along. Snap judgments coming on Tuesday after Ryan Day, Matt Patricia, and Brian Hartline give their updates. That will be the only press availability of the week. So we're looking forward to that. And then every Monday, you can catch Zach Boren on the beat. And every Monday at Roosters, you can listen to Justin Zwick. So got it covered as we're getting ready. We got, 12 days to go until Ohio State plays again?
It's tough.
What a long wait. But
Berm, last question.
So what's up with recruiting?
How's recruiting going?
Birm, if you are a Ohio State football coach, if you're Ryan Day and you're allowed to see one player this weekend on Friday night play, who are you going to see?
What's the purpose of the visit? To
it's,
tell them
it's recruiting.
To let them know that we really want them.
No, to let them know, that Ohio
they're
State
out,
really wants
we
them.
want
And they cannot be a committed kid. It's either someone committed elsewhere or non-committed.
Well, one guy that Ohio State is very, very high on in the class of 2027 is David Gabriel George's a running back down in Tennessee. Carlos Lachlan is not going to see him this week because Georgia said that the game that they're going to have this week should be a blowout, and he said, hey, come back in your second off week, so he'll be there next month. I would probably do that, though, just to make sure. Like, that's going to be a kid that is going to probably command 7 figures as a running back out of high school.
So he's that good.
He's that good. I would
top 5 player.
I would probably go make sure that he's aware,
feeling the love
that they're putting all of the chips on the table for that one.
Got it.
Or I'd go watch Jet Harrison, Marvin's little brother. Woo, he had an unbelievable game this past weekend.
Did he?
He's 2028.
They probably don't need the evaluation
week
on
one.
him,
Week 1, he made a couple good grabs against American Heritage or St. Thomas Aquinas. One of the two.
American Heritage.
American Heritage.
He's something that light is fully on. He looks like Marv. It's kind of crazy because he's just a sophomore, but he looks unbelievable. That one's to your point. They probably don't have to go see him.
Yeah, I think
they know what they're getting there. Yeah,
and Jet already knows what he can do at Ohio State as well. So I think that should be easy. Great question, Zach. Yeah. That's really adding to the spice of the show.
It's a great answer. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, David Gabriel George.
So are you punting on the 26 class?
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
There's 21 commitments. They've only got room for 3 or 4 more in this class, and then they're going to
you can take as many as you want.
Hit the transfer portal hard because there's going to be a lot of guys on this team that aren't on this team next year. Players that you have to replace, and you're going to need some veteran presences.
I like it.
Mac and Cheese Bites also have a veteran presence.
Yes.
They're $3 on Appetizer Thursday. That is tomorrow. This, though, was the live show on a Monday, breaking down Ohio State. They did win, by the way, 37-9 against the Bobcats on Saturday. Thanks to Justin Zwick, Zach Boren, Nicole Cox, Jeremy Birmingham, and Tansky Powersports for helping bring this all to you right here for the live show at Roosters. I am Austin Ward. We will see you next Monday. Have a great week.